Hello, YouTubers. I was asked a question the other day. What did I think the advancements would be in the world of technology in the area of computing and social networking? Well, I really am the worst person to ask because I haven't kept up with new technology. I don't need phones that can access the internet, etc., and I don't need sort of tablets that can handheld computers. So I still live in a world with big desktop computers, and they probably will be a thing of the past very soon. But whilst I don't know anything about it, my friend Michael, who's my webmaster, he's been dealing with computers since they were, well, whatever they were, calculators with, I don't know, tape in them or card readers. I really don't know. So I passed the question to him. So, Michael, tell us, what are your thoughts on your visions on how computing will go in the next few years?
Well, first of all, good morning, Peter. Well, I think there are several key areas that are going to develop, and I want to touch on three: storage, display, and interface. My first key point would be that I see storage becoming less localized. Right now, we're seeing people well, we've already seen floppy disks go the way of the dinosaur. And I think we're going to very soon see optical disks go. And then eventually we're going to see hard drives with platters that spin go. Solid state drives are already becoming almost a norm in every computer. They're going to become larger and larger. And then eventually I think they're going to fade away until we have nothing but a small box and everything's going to be stored in the cloud. I had discussed with you before about cloud storage, and you have the Google netbook device there, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Which is all cloud based, and that's kind of like the abacus to today's computers version of what I see happening, where the cloud is where everything is stored. We're already seeing a lot of advances in things being delivered to us through broadband internet access, movies, television, and lots of online content is all streamed to us. We don't do as much locally as we once did. Everything seems to be done through a web browser or some sort of an interface that connects to the internet. We're already right now at the point where most areas, not all, but most areas that are industrialized have gigabit internet capability. And if we're looking, how many years in the future were we talking about?
I think we were talking about 10 years into the future.
Well, 10 years in the future, I can see us talking, at maybe 50 gigabit, maybe more. It could, it could go really big. But the faster the internet is for everyone, the more likely it's going to be that things are all stored online, and you're not going to run a program locally.
Yeah.
You're going to pay for access to a service that feeds you software that you use. And I know that the next issue to come from that is going to be, but what about my security?
Yes, absolutely. This is the first question that everybody asks. Yes, absolutely. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think you're first going to have to trust somebody, whether it's your internet provider or whoever. You're going to enter into a contract that binds them to maintain your security. And then your security is also protected by something in the form of retina scan. We already have fingerprint scanners. Retina scanners do exist, but it's a technology that's in its infancy. Once it's advanced enough, a good retina scanner is 1,000 times better than a fingerprint scanner for security. And then nobody will be able to access your data except you.
Do do you think that to alleviate these worries about your server keeping all your data on their machines, that there will be more larger sort of devices that you can
Sure.
carry around? Like, I
Yeah.
mean, I keep sensitive material on
But
from not on my actual computer, but I keep it on an external hard drive, which in my case is about 6 inches by 4 inches. But of course, like you've just shown, we've all got these memory sticks.
right.
Do you see a development in that
Yes, I
mobile
do.
sort
Well,
of
this
storage?
right here is a 64 gigabyte memory stick,
Mm,
which is larger than any hard drive that was on the market, say 15 years ago or
mm,
10 years ago even. You didn't hear about 64 gigabyte hard drives 10 years ago. I think we're going to be looking at multiple terabyte flash drives, and you're just going to be keeping all the data that you're going to want to keep and travel with. Even though most of that will be available to you through the cloud, like you're going to store all your pictures in the cloud, and they'll always be available to you wherever you go. But you might want to keep your financial records
mm, mm,
and your really personal data that you don't want online in any way, shape, or form. You'll just pop a little drive like this. It probably US won't even be regular USB. It'll be something new probably. Maybe USB 4.0 will be out by then, and it'll be super fast. And your data will be accessible on a very small device like that.
mm.
Um,
Yes, we talked earlier. I was interested in and not only the sort of development of computer technology, but the world of entertainment, and you had some quite revolutionary ideas of. I think you said things like the fact that we wouldn't have television screens anymore. We might have a plastic sheet or something that was
yeah,
got electrical sort of conductivity within it.
right.
Give me your ideas on that.
Well, they have been developing technology where they have basically it's a sheet of paper and they can put a current through it and have it light up and change the colors of it. And that's just, one small step away from being able to have it display imagery. And in 10 years, I don't know about 10 years, but maybe in 20, 25 years, I envision us having, very thin sheets of some sort of polymer that is electrically activated and will display whatever you want. I mean, the first thing I'm picturing is something like a roll up. You remember the old fashioned movie screens that you would
Mm,
project with the
mm,
film
mm,
onto? Something like a tube like that the movie screens roll into. Not
mm,
quite that big. A little bit more portable, a little bit easier, much lighter weight that you just carry on a strap over your shoulder like a laptop computer.
mm, mm,
But the screen will open up. It'll be a little more rigid, and the display will be touch sensitive, like an iPad or an iPhone
mm,
is, or an Android. You'll just have your keyboard on there. I know there will be purists like me who are still going to want to have a regular keyboard for the tactile feel of it, but I eventually foresee where your entire home can be wallpapered with this kind of display where you touch a wall anywhere you're at and boom, it brings up a display and you can interact with that wall in your bathroom, in your kitchen, your living room. You'll have displays built into your furniture and you won't need, big bulky televisions. You'll just turn your wall on
mm.
and you'll interact with it from some thing in the armrest of your sofa or your chair or what have you. I imagine that these displays will become very inexpensive because I think the money is going to come into play in the delivery of the data and the storage of the data. The devices themselves, I think, are going to come way down in price because they're going to become very inexpensive to make, and they're going to need to make their money somehow. So they're going to make their money by charging you for content.
Yeah,
We're already
yeah,
seeing that.
yeah. I think this is the big thing of charging you for content. But I think we've given people an awful lot to think about, and I hope it will open up some sort of a debate. I think perhaps we should say goodbye to each other and bung it up and see what happens. So
Okay, Peter.
thank you, Michael, and
All right.
goodbye.